Yeah, what it does to your brain. On the live. Good morning, I'm Junior from Here For You Life Coaching. Yeah, we're going to talk neuroscience today from the more factual side of gratitude because when you hear about gratitude, right, you hear about it in a mystical way because everybody goes, oh, well, when you're grateful, what you're grateful for, attracts more if you're grateful, right? But they don't tell you how. So today I'm going to explain how. Okay. Good morning, Sarah. Nice to see you. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Welcome. So we're on 7 platforms this morning in various places in Europe and worldwide, actually. So we'll just say worldwide, but all over the place. And if you're seeing this for the first time, just know that there's a scientific reason for gratitude. Okay, there's a scientific reason for why you need to be grateful. All right, so now let's get into it. Let's dive in. So, gratitude from a neuroscience perspective, okay, it changes your brain. It rewires your brain slowly. I mean, you have to do it in repetition, okay? But gratitude activates the brain's reward circuitry. What am I talking about? I'm talking about chemistry, brain chemistry. Okay, so you know how you get dopamine hits, and so first we're going to discuss the regions. So there's several regions of the brain that gets affected. Okay, so dopamine releases happen. Okay, your neurochemical effects, dopamine. Okay, now what does it do? It makes you motivated. It uplifts you. So when you express gratitude, what's really happening is you start to feel better. Okay, yesterday we discussed that. Okay, and you start to feel better. Why? Because you're being grateful. Okay, because you're saying thank you. Now, even if you only have a little, okay, of something, it could be a little money, okay, be grateful. Okay, we also talk about generosity hand in hand with gratitude because it works that way. So, what am I talking about? Well, give as often as you can and make it a habit. Okay, because when it goes into your subconscious, it starts to form a habit, it starts to form a pattern. Those patterns get repeated from the subconscious. Okay, so some people have told me in the past, "Well, I don't have money to give away. I barely have enough money to pay my bills, right?" And then I asked them, I said, "Do you have spare change? Like, do you keep spare change in the house or whatever?" And they go, "Oh yeah, I have tons of spare. I have tons of pennies, quarters. It's all in, you know, in these bottles in my room and stuff like that." And I said, "Well, take these bottles, okay, empty them out into a bag." Okay, and go give it to children in the shopping center, go give it to people, give it to homeless people, whoever, however, it doesn't matter who. Okay, it just matters that you give. Okay, and it just matters that you get in the habit of giving, because when you start getting in the habit of giving, you will get in the habit of receiving because it'll automatically happen to you. Okay, so neurochemical effect is dopamine when you say thank you. Okay, so what it is you are being rewarded with the dopamine by expressing gratitude for something that you're thankful for. Okay, so gratitude also boosts serotonin levels. Okay, serotonin, so that means mood stability. Okay, being stable with your moods. Okay, serotonin does that. Emotional resilience. Okay, what does that mean? Well, that means when you get into a bad mood, you can recover and get back into a good mood faster. Okay, resilience, how you recover. Okay, it regulates mood too, like how antidepressants work. So serotonin is very important with that. Okay, so if and I've had tons of people. So I gotta preface this with we do not make medical claims, but I've had tons of people that have gotten off their medicine after their vocalization exercises that we do because of the serotonin, the increased serotonin levels. Okay, so serotonin does this. So people that are depressed, for example, right, they respond very positively to serotonin. All right, so this is why gratitude is so important because it starts to change. Good morning, Sarah. There you go. There you go. Good morning. It starts to change your chemistry, okay? Your chemistry in your brain. Okay, so when we talk about affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization, okay, gratitude is all a part of this, okay? And because tomorrow's Thanksgiving, we're going to run down gratitude and talk about it, okay? Now, gratitude lowers stress hormones, Okay, what is that? Cortisol. Good old cortisol. Okay, so your cortisol is your fight or flight hormone. Okay, and it's necessary. It's necessary if there's danger. Okay, but in the modern world where we don't have tigers in the bushes, stuff like that, things we have to physically run from. Okay, unless of course you're in riots or whatever. Okay, but you don't have to really control cortisol all that much, but it still affects you. Okay, we don't rely on it so much. It doesn't really affect you that much unless, let's say, you're just sitting around doing nothing. Okay, which is why we say if you're not controlling your mind will control you. Okay, why is that? Well, because you have an imagination, okay, and because your amygdala produces these responses, and it will give you a bunch of negative what ifs for every negative problem that you think. So you think of a negative situation, your amygdala, if you don't shut off that thought, the amygdala starts saying, okay, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? What if that happens? And pretty soon you have like 1,000 reasons, and this small little negative thought starts to blossom into a big monster. Okay, so cortisol actually goes down with gratitude when you say thank you. As you say thank you, cortisol goes down. So here was a thing about gratitude that I told you a couple days ago when we began our series. And I told you that I was stuck in traffic one day, and I thought I wouldn't make it to the bathroom, right, to my house, because I was like maybe 3 or 4 blocks away. And I started saying thank you, and it went away. The urge to go to the bathroom went away. And so it happened the other day again, right? And so I said, okay, well, it wasn't the same circumstance, but I just had that feeling, right? And and I thought, okay, let's try gratitude again and see if it's really the gratitude that's doing it. And I started to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and it went away. Okay, so I'm here to say that it works on your central nervous system. Okay, and this is what it's talking about. The neuroscience reflects this. Okay, the neuroscience reflects the fact that when you say thank you, all of these chemical reactions in your brain take place. Okay, so the stress hormones lower. So if you're really stressed out, say thank you. Okay, cortisol levels go down. They start to shrink. They don't go away, but they go down. Okay, it's controllable. Okay, now we have um, we have this rest and digest thing within the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, which just means that when your cortisol is lowered, okay, you have that period where you can rest and digest. Okay, in other words, it's a timeout. It's a neurochemical timeout that happens. Okay, slower heart rate. Okay, lower blood pressure. You're in a temporary calm state. Okay, your breathing goes down. Good morning, Jay. Your breathing goes down. Okay, because when you're hyped up, right, your breathing increases. You're like that. Your heart rate goes up. Like, okay, so this starts to calm you. Okay, as your cortisol is lowered, and you have this rest and digest period. Okay, so I suggest that when you get there, when you start feeling that calm, okay, continue to say thank you. Okay, your body will literally shift into a healing state. Okay, it will shift into a state that's receptive to healing. Okay, just by saying thank you. Okay, so if you're stressed out, if you're, let's say you're thinking about all these negative things and your mind is starting to attack you, if you start to say thank you will work against that. Okay, so you're talking about improved emotional control. Okay, your emotions, getting a handle on your emotions. You become more emotionally intelligent. Okay, better decision making. Why? Because you're clearer. You start to experience more clarity. How do you experience more clarity? Well, how does that happen? Why does that happen? Well, if you get rid, or let's say you push down or suppress your negative emotions, okay? So all the negative emotions are rooted in fear. Okay, so you're talking about stress, you're talking about worry, you're talking about, right, all the negative emotions. Fear, guilt, shame, all of these things. Okay, these are all responses to fear. They all contain a certain amount of fear in them. So as you start to say thank you start to push down this fear. Okay, and what's really important is that you push down, move forward, push down, move forward, push down, move forward. Okay, now worry is like praying for something bad to happen. Okay, so if you start to worry about something, say thank you. Okay, see what happens. Okay, so it happens. It happens to me. You wrote on your live about going back to your country after a divorce. I decided to go for it and started. Oh, good, good, good. Very good. To sell your furniture, but then you got scammed today and lost the furniture too. I still hope. I've lost hope in it. What have you lost hope in? The furniture that you got scammed out of, or your divorce? Well, FG. Yeah, tell me. So we have a chat going on our other venue here. So bear with us. Okay, so reduced reactivity to stress happens when you say thank you. Okay, and this is all neurochemical. Okay, these are the chemicals in your brain. Okay, these are hormones and chemicals that start to form and or start to dissipate depending on which one it is, according to the amount of gratitude that you put forth. Okay, increased ability to interpret events positively. So what does that mean? Well, that means when you see an event, there's always a good side and bad side, right? But you increase the odds of you seeing something in the positive. We're talking about your perception. Okay. So gratitude enhances your perception. It allows you to see the positive side of things. Because everything has a positive and negative, depending on how you look at it. Okay, let's see. Starting the process of going back, to your country, because you got scam and trusted the woman. Okay, well, but lost money. I thought I would get help. Oh, I see. You lost the money that it would take to get you back to your country. Okay. Focus on bringing more money in your life. Okay. Use gratitude. We're talking about gratitude today. Start expressing gratitude and do affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Okay. Don't get stuck in the negativity of unfortunately. Okay. Turn that around. Go from the glass half empty to the glass half full. Start writing affirmations that will counteract that. I am so happy and grateful now that I have improved my finances. Put it that way. And then find things to do that will bring you money. Good morning, Didi. Good morning. I see you. How can I let go of the fact that I got scammed and lost? Forget about it. Put it out of your mind. Switch your thinking. Reframe, refocus. Okay? I've been scammed tons of times. Okay? But you just have to let it go because it's already done. What are you going to do? You can't change it. Hi, Cooper. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so when you have that ability to see things in the positive light through gratitude, through expressing gratitude, you'll be happier. Okay, this elevates your mood as well. Why? Because now things are positive, okay, instead of negative. Okay, you have to see things working for you instead of against you. Okay, so let's say, I don't know, let's say like this person over here, right? So he broke up with a girl, okay? That can be tons of good news. That could be totally good news. But it depends on how you look at it, right? So you can look at future opportunities for yourself because now there's no one else to deal with, right? Or you can stay in loss mode and feel sorry for yourself. Okay, so there's two ways to look at everything. Okay, I always look at those things as opportunities. Okay, when they come up, always look at the opportunity that it presents, whatever it is. So your favorite glass vase breaks, falls down on the floor, breaks into pieces, right? So now you have an opportunity to get a new one. Okay, just you have to reframe, refocus. So also, this activation of gratitude, of speaking gratitude, helps to quiet the amygdala. Okay, that's your fight or flight. Okay, the fear and threat detection center of your brain. It helps to quiet that down. Okay, so your neurochemical tie in the amygdala is reactivity. It slows reactivity. It slows it down. It quiets it. Okay, so you're always going to have that because it's there for a reason. Okay, the amygdala is there for a reason. If there's a threat, you need to see the threat and you need to deal with it. You need to run from it or however you're going to deal with it. Rosanna, good morning. Good morning. So happy Thanksgiving, Rosanna, to you and your family. So you're tired. Okay. Hi. Too painful to live. Okay, explain that. So, thank you, Rosanna. You wanted some advice. Sure. What advice would you like? I'll see what I can do. We'll see. Thank you, Rosanna, for the heart. Thank you. Thank you. So, your GABA levels increase, okay? So, your calming neurotransmitter, GABA levels, okay? So, your GABA levels in the brain increase while your amygdala slows down, okay? And this is all from saying thank you, okay? So, I thought it was kind of weird, right? The other day when I was on the way home and I thought I was going to be too late. I thought I wouldn't make the bathroom and I was panicking and I just said thank you over and over and over. And it went away. It was like magic. It just disappeared. So I tried it again, right? The other day it happened again. Um, yeah, you can message me. You can message me or Jay, you can put up my email and they can email me. I'll be happy to help them. So gratitude creates long-term neural changes in your brain. Why? Because it starts to form new neural pathways when you start to say thank you as a practice. So it's the conscious, subconscious, superconscious. The conscious mind decides to be grateful. Okay? The conscious mind is where you make the decision. It's the decision maker, it's the gatekeeper. Okay? And the reason why we call it the gatekeeper is because if you get a thought that you don't like, you can say no or stop. Okay? That's why it's the gatekeeper. This is your opportunity to either accept or deny. Okay? The thought. You're not a prisoner to your thoughts unless you don't control it. If you don't control it, then you're subject to whatever it brings. Because first you have the thought, then the feeling follows. Okay? Thought first, then feeling. So the thought occurs, and then the emotion associated with that thought occurs. Okay? So in order to get away from the emotion or the feeling, okay, let's say it's a bad thought. You don't want to feel bad. Okay? You want to stop the thought first. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. Now, long-term neural changes occur because you say thank you. So the conscious mind says, okay, I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to practice gratitude or a form of gratitude practice. Now you've done it a few times. Now it goes into the subconscious, okay, as a program. Your subconscious is like, oh, okay, this is what we do. Okay. Now the subconscious will repeat this. The subconscious will start pulling evidence of being grateful together. And it'll go, hey, remember this? Remember you were grateful for this? And then you go, oh, yeah, thank you. Okay, there you go. Okay. And then it'll go, hey, here's something else to be grateful for. Look at that. And then you go, oh, thank you. Here's something else to be grateful over here. Look at that. And you go, oh, thank you. Okay. Now, pretty soon you have a habit of being grateful. You're in a habit of gratitude. And now you're doing a gratitude practice every day. See, in the beginning when I did this in 2007, I formed a gratitude practice. And my gratitude practice was to turn off the stereo in my car, which I still do if I'm driving by myself. I turn off the stereo and I look at everything I pass on the highway. And I say, thank you for the trees. Thank you for the people. Thank you for the children. Thank you for the dogs. Thank you for the fire hydrant. Thank you for right? For everything I see. And I do it one by one, by one, by one, as I'm driving down. Thank you for the building. Thank you for, right? If you start doing little things like this and being grateful for little things like this, bigger things come in your life. Huge. Okay, and I'm not just talking about material things. Okay, I manifest a lot of material things. Like, you know, uh, material things are no big thing. Not to me anyway, because they come so easy. Okay, it's easy. It's very easy to manifest physical things. Um, you need to also look at relationships. You need to also look at jobs, job opportunities, or just opportunities in general. Okay, entrepreneur opportunities, any kind of opportunities. And you never know what's around the corner. Okay, and that's why you focus on the journey. When you focus on the journey, right, everything has a different meaning. If you're focused on a destination, right, you have to have a clear picture of what you want the destination to look like. But you don't focus on the destination every day. You enjoy the journey that takes you to the destination while having a clear picture of what this destination is, because you need a target. So many people don't have a target. They're living aimless lives. Okay, when you live an aimless life, that's like being in a boat with no rudder. Your boat goes like this, it goes like that. And you go over here, well, wave took us up, wave put us down, go over here, well, we're going like, there's no direction. You need to choose a direction. The way the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious work together is that the conscious mind makes a decision. It says, okay, we're going there. Okay, it selects a target. Through repetition, the target is put into the subconscious. Now, the subconscious takes that target and that information and starts repeating it. Okay, so it repeats the pattern. So now you don't have to do all that much work. A lot of people think that, forming good habits is a lot of work. It's not a lot of work, it's easy. Okay, it's a little repetition. 66 days worth. Okay. So let me ask you a question, or let me pose a question to you. Okay. Let's say, for example, you want a new car. Are you willing to do some thought work, okay, mental application, mental focus? Are you willing to do mental focus for 66 days to get a new car? Most people would say yes. Most people start on that journey and they probably give up within a month, because you have to be consistent, okay? So I did this the first time, right? And when I accomplished the new car the first time in 2007, right? The second time was easy. The third time was easier, okay? But it all stayed in my subconscious. And ever since 2007, there's always been new car smell. And that's the way I look at it. I don't look at it like, okay, I'm, going to manifest whatever, because it's automatic. It's in my subconscious. Every 3 years, I get a new car. Okay, so now I lease. I was buying new cars for a while. Okay. But I had to break the paradigm, okay, of buying a good used car. Okay. That's a fear-based paradigm. It's a fear-based paradigm because the fear is losing money. That's the focus of that paradigm. So if you use words like lose, okay, if you use words like want, if you use words like need, okay, these are all terms of lack. It puts your subconscious in lack. You don't know you're in lack. That's why they call it a subconscious. It's below the surface. Okay? It's below the surface. That's why it's called subconscious. But your subconscious is what drives everything automatically. 95% of your life is subconscious. And if you don't change any of those things, your life will look the same every day, every week, every month, every year until you die. So I did a live on my private channel on Facebook. I have a private group. And I did a live on the private group this morning. And it had to deal with, good morning, Nancy. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, thank you. So I did a live on the kingdom within, a very short live. Okay, now there are two realities that you have. You have the physical and the spiritual, and they are both separate realities. Okay, the spirit is in here. Okay, your spirit is in here. So there is a separation between the body and the spirit. Everything of the physical world is a part of the body part, okay? Because it's physical, the body's physical. Okay, the spiritual part is in here. And this is why Jesus Christ said the kingdom is within. And he wanted you to focus on in here, because in here attracts out here. Everything out here is attracted to everything in here. So if you adjust anything in here, you automatically adjust everything out here. So many of my clients, right, raise their vibration. They raise their vibration through their voice. How do you keep your perseverance? Because at one point I feel really bummed and that slows me down. Yeah, so you need to improve your mood. So when you start thinking a negative thought, say stop or no and switch your thinking. Okay, refocus, reframe, refocus. So refocus on something you like. Think of something you like. When you first get that feeling, you have 6 seconds to change your thinking before you get the emotion associated with negative thinking. So do that and tell me how it goes. Thank you for pinning that, Jay. So the reason why you focus on the kingdom, so Jesus said, right? Focus first on the kingdom. Seek first the kingdom of God, and all else will be added unto you. If we say it a different way, we can say, focus on the spirit in here, because this is what attracts everything to you. Because you attract who you are. You can attract what you want. I do that all the time. I make affirmations. I do meditation on it. I get everything I want sooner or later. Sometimes I have to wait. You don't get it like this. Okay, it's not magic. It's subconscious. Mental discipline. I don't like to use the word discipline because everybody goes, oh, work, you know. But it is a little focus. It's a little concentration. It's a little repetition, okay? But it's not hard work. I work long. I never work hard. I work long. Working long and working hard are two different things, okay? I look at construction people and I go, okay, that's hard, okay? That's not for me. I'm not made for that, okay? But I'm made for long, okay? I can go the distance. I can focus for a long time. I have ADHD, which the H is hyper, so that helps me. That helps me hyper focus, okay? But anybody can do this. In small baby steps, anybody can do this, okay? You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be anything. You just have to be a human being, and you can change your whole life, okay? It's just, what pattern are you going to repeat? A positive pattern or a negative pattern? You have to choose between the two. When you choose to think about things that you don't like, when you choose to think about things that you don't want to happen, versus things that you do want to happen, things that you love, things that you like, then you're going to suffer the consequences. You're bringing it onto yourself, okay? I slept on a sidewalk, but when I slept on the sidewalk, I was enjoying the journey. I was having fun, okay? And I was hanging around with dangerous people, but I was having fun, okay? If I would have hated those days, if I would have hated what was going on, it would have brought more negative circumstances. When your vibration does not fit your environment, you cannot stay there. When your vibration gets raised, you cannot stay in the same environment. You cannot hang out with the same people. You cannot do the same things. You evolve. The people that don't evolve are just going in circles. That's all. They're going in circles. Okay, because the subconscious will give you a loop and you will live in that loop. It will just go in a circle. Wash, rinse, repeat. Now, to get out of that loop, what do? You raise your vibration. Okay, now in humans, vibration is emotion. Okay? The happier you become, the more you attract. Okay? Think about it this way. If you're angry, let's say you're sitting in a Starbucks, okay? And let's say you're angry and you look angry. How many people do you think are going to come up to you and say hi? You see? How do you accept the fact that death is inevitable? Well, I accept the fact because this is eternal. This is going to die. Okay? The body dies. The spirit never dies. That's how I accept it. And death is nothing to be afraid of. Death is another aspect of life. It's not the termination of life, because life is in here. Life is in the kingdom. Explain vibration. Okay, so vibration is emotion. I'm explaining that. Thank you, Jay, for pinning that. So vibration is emotion. If you have a low vibration, that means you're not happy. That means something's irritating you. Okay, so the low vibrations, I have the list here. I'm just going to read the list because it's easier if I read the list and you can get the full understanding of what it is. And sorry, I don't memorize all my facts. So all the positive vibrations are rooted in love. Okay, you were born in love. You started in love, and then life happened. Okay, circumstances happen. So love, peace, gratitude, joy, passion, excitement, enthusiasm, hope, and satisfaction. Those are all the positive. Okay, it starts from satisfaction. That's the minimum good vibe, the most minimal good vibe. Okay, then it goes down and it goes all the way. It goes all the way to negativity once you reach worry. So the next step, if you're not satisfied, the next step is worry. Okay, then it goes from worry. Sorry, I'm trying to. My iPad is in low. It's in low power mode. So worry, irritation, disappointment, criticism, anger, hate, boredom, envy, despair, grief, guilt, and shame, and then fear on the bottom. So all the negative emotions are rooted in fear. Okay? So if you're worrying, that's like praying for something bad to happen. And you can stop worrying just by saying stop. Because first you get the thought, then the emotion follows. Okay? There's no such thing as feeling an emotion without a thought. So you control your thoughts. Okay? You're supposed to control your thoughts. If you're not controlling your thoughts, then what's happening is you're just getting a thought and you're just accepting it. So if the thought is positive, you're accepting it. If the thought is negative, you're accepting it. Why accept negativity? Okay. So if you, let's see, what's that? So vibration is, right? I'm not accepting this negative thought because I choose to be happy. Happiness is a choice. Okay, you either choose to be happy. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. It's nice to be appreciated. Thank you. So when you have a good thought, right, go ahead, think it. And then you're going to experience in 6 seconds, you will experience the good emotion. Now, if it's a bad thought, in 6 seconds, you will experience the emotion. Okay? So you have 6 seconds to shut down your amygdala. Okay? That's the part of your brain that has that alarm, the alarm bells, okay? The negativity, okay? So you have 6 seconds to say, no, I don't want any part of that thought. Because otherwise, guess what? You're going to get that feeling sweep over you. Okay? And it could be fear, guilt, shame, disappointment. Okay? Any of those things. Okay? It could be worry. You could get a thought about something that's going to happen next week, and then you start thinking about it, and then you start worrying about it. Oh my God, yeah, I'm not prepared for that yet. Da da da, whatever, whatever. And then you start feeling the effects of the emotion. Okay. So gratitude. We're talking about gratitude today because it's Thanksgiving tomorrow, and we've been talking about gratitude all week. And we probably will talk about it till Sunday, so that it sinks in. Okay, but when you express gratitude, it works against negativity. It works, not only does it work against negativity, it promotes positive neuroscience. Okay, the chemicals, the hormones, okay, oxytocin, endorphins, these chemicals that are positive for you. Okay, it increases serotonin levels, all of these things. So it creates a positive chemical soup in the brain. Okay, so gratitude isn't just a nice idea. Okay, it's not just a nice idea. It's real neuroscience. You struggle with anxiety when you wake up. I've tried to find the reason, but it's been like this for years. Yeah, so when you wake up, you're thinking, right? When you wake up, you're thinking thoughts from yesterday because those were the same thoughts that you were thinking yesterday. So here's what happens. You're just caught in a loop. You're caught in a subconscious loop, FG. So here. So you get up this morning and you think about all the unresolved things that you were thinking about yesterday. Okay? Then what happens? Well, then you experience it again. Whatever is not resolved today, okay? And most people don't resolve their problems. They're just victims. They just go with this negative loop. Okay? They don't really have solutions. They just kind of preoccupied with the problems. So what happens? Well, then you go to sleep tonight. Nothing is resolved. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, guess what? The problems are all here. How does it start? With a thought. Okay? Whatever's not resolved from yesterday. You wake up in the morning, your mind starts going, right? As soon as you get conscious, when your brain's out of theta state, in the morning you're in theta state, relaxed state, and then it starts revving up. Okay? Then you start the overthinking. But what are you overthinking about? All the negative stuff that wasn't resolved from yesterday. So what happened? Well, yesterday was over here, right? And you started thinking about it again. Now you brought it into today. You're going to bring it into tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next. And then you're going to live this life over and over and over and over. And one day you're going to run out of life and you're going to die. And then what? You have lived that whole life over and over and over because it's in your subconscious over and over and over until you run out of time. And many people live in this state. And what do we call this? We call it hell. We call it living in hell. You create your heaven or you create your hell. What does that mean? Let's say it another way. If you create good things in your subconscious will repeat good over and over and over and over. And you'll be in a good loop. Thank you very much, FG. So FG, the solution, okay? Stop negative thoughts. When you get the first negative thought in the morning, say stop and focus on something else. Okay? Now, if you want to, maybe do a screensaver like this, okay? Like a lock screen like this, with something that you enjoy or something that you have that you love, or your dog or your children or whatever it is, and say stop with the negative thought and then pick it up and look at it. Because you have to distract yourself into positivity. And you have to keep doing that until that positivity goes in your subconscious as a program, and your subconscious goes, oh, we're doing that now? Okay, and the answer is yes, we're doing that now. And then the subconscious starts to change. And when you start to change, you start to feel better. Okay, and like attracts like. So good attracts good. Negative attracts negative. So right now you're stuck in a negative loop. You need to be stuck in a positive loop. and it's not difficult. Okay, it's just a practice. Yeah, I know. It happens as soon as you open your eyes. There it is, right? Because you're conscious, because you're a human being, because you can observe yourself and your situation. So yeah, when you raise your emotions, you automatically raise your vibration, and then you attract better things. Okay, so now as for when you decide to, right? Because it's a decision. When you decide with the conscious mind. It's a decision. Okay, I'm going to be grateful. Then it goes into your subconscious as a belief. Okay, when it goes into your subconscious as a belief, now you're like, oh, okay, I get it, right? So it starts to become a habit. When gratitude becomes a habit, you're rewarding yourself with the dopamine all the time. It's Joseph Murphy, not Jeffrey, but yes, I read it. Of course, I have it right here. So yeah, it's this book right here. I don't get anything from promoting the book, but yeah, everyone should read this. There you go. Username Creative Scouting. Okay, there you go. Yep. The power of your subconscious mind. So there's all kinds of things in here as well as healing. Okay, so if you're suffering from something other than thinking, just know that it originated in thought, and you can read about healing it in there. Okay, and if you want my book, you can get my book, The Universal Law of Attraction in Singing, and this book is about how we've changed people's lives through their voices, and that involves energy, frequency, vibration, and velocity. So anyway, so yeah, so the answer is yes. The answer is yes. All right. So if there's any questions, just ask me questions if you have questions about it. So other good books. Let's see. What else can I recommend for you to read? There are so many books. You can read. You can read Think and Grow Rich is another one by Napoleon Hill. You can also, and they always talk about this, okay? So they're talking about the subconscious. They're just not saying subconscious. The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles is another book. Okay, The Science of Getting Rich. The Science of Getting Rich, basically, I can give you the whole book in a nutshell. When you do something 100%, okay, every action 100%, you cannot fail to make money, you cannot fail to succeed, you cannot fail to get ahead, whatever, okay? But you have to do it 100%. A lot of people are lazy, so they do a little bit of this, little bit of that, little bit, and then what they get is a little bit positive results, a little bit of this, little bit of that, right? Could music make people subconsciously feel more positive? Of course. Music raises your mood. Yep. Yep, Joe Dispenza says the same thing because he's talking about subconscious, but he's not really saying it. He's not working any magic or anything. He's giving you subconscious training, but he's doing it through meditation. So he does it through, he does it through guided meditations, and it works. Guided meditation works for sure, but you need a balanced program. Okay. So it's very easy for someone to charge you a lot of money just to go and, meditate with them on the weekend, okay? Because basically that's what it is. And basically, a guided meditation is very simple, but you need to do the other components. So it's affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. If you don't do the other three and you just do meditation, it's like doing affirmations without the other three. It's like doing visualization without the other three. It doesn't work as well. But when you use all four, affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization, all aimed at one thing, it cannot not happen. It has to happen. But you have to do it for 66 days. You can't be lazy. Okay? Okay. So yeah. So we're going to discuss more about gratitude tomorrow, probably until Sunday. And I want to remind you guys that the conscious mind, another way to understand this, because you all have computers, Okay, you all have cell phones. Another way to understand this is that your conscious mind is your operating software. Your subconscious mind is the hard drive where the programs are stored and repeated. Okay, it goes into a loop, which is good news for you because you don't need to train the subconscious on the same thing over and over for more than 66 days. Okay, things can become a habit in 2 weeks. Okay, but in 66 days you will get solid results, and then you can kind of leave it alone and let it repeat, you know, by itself. Okay, prayer is also important. I got to add that in. Okay, so prayer is also important. The formula is ask, believe, receive. Okay, when you pray, you're asking. When you're making intentions, you're asking. Okay, when you're focused on visualization, you're asking. When you're doing meditation and you think a thought, you are asking. So when you're in meditation, ask. It'll be shown to you. If you ask in meditation, the visualization is automatic. Boom, it shows itself to you. When you say thank you in meditation, you start getting more visualizations. Okay? And everything is working off of your subconscious, or let's say it another way, the things you believe. Okay? What you believe to be true. Now you can change those beliefs. Okay, you can change any or all of them. You can't change them all at the same time because there's too many. Okay, your subconscious is your book of life. Your subconscious has been with you ever since you were born. Okay, it has a record of everything you've done, everything you've thought, everything you've said. So if you have a question, ask. Believe in your asking. Your subconscious will answer. So the subconscious is the hard drive. Now, what is the superconscious? The superconscious is the network we're all plugged into. Okay? Awareness. We are all aware. We all have the same collective awareness, but different perception. Quick 3 advice to improve life: affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. That's 4. There you go. You got a bonus. Hey, Wolf to Wolf Dog. Good morning. Haven't seen you for a while. Welcome. And I'm not a coach, I'm a teacher. There you go. So, your mind is a computer system. Think of it that way. Okay? So your conscious mind makes the decision. That's your operating software. It tells you what the topic is going to be. Then you put the topic into your subconscious. Then your subconscious starts to reiterate that topic. After a while, you'll feel the first shift in 2 weeks when you do this. Then your superconscious, right, starts giving your subconscious intuitive thought based upon whatever is in there. People are not really, aware, okay, because it's subconscious, it's below the surface, what they really truly believe to be true until they get triggered by something, right? And then you form an opinion, or until you see something, then you form an opinion. But you form the opinion like that, right? Because all the information is in your subconscious. So how do you feel about politics? You're going to feel it from your subconscious, okay? And it's going to be like that, okay? You're going to form an opinion like that about whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you smell. You ever been in a store or in a restaurant and you get that smell and you go, wow, that takes me back to my grandmother's kitchen, right? And maybe that happened 30, 40, 50 years ago. Maybe you're young, maybe it happened 10 years ago. Maybe it happened 5 years ago. But it takes you back, okay, because it's in your subconscious. There is a program there in your subconscious. Now, if it's something unpleasant, okay, that's something pleasant. If it's something unpleasant, Thank you, Jason. Yeah. So this is it right here. The universal law of attraction and singing. This is about energy, frequency, vibration, and velocity through the human voice and how it takes away anxiety, overthinking, all that stuff. Jay, can you put the title in the chat so they can look it up? Thank you. So so anyway, um, sorry, we have a chat going on over here, and but if you start to recognize your conscious, subconscious, and superconscious states of awareness, okay, as a computer system, it becomes very easy to synchronize. It becomes very easy to develop synergy between the three, okay, and it's easy to understand because your conscious mind selects whatever you want. Okay, so I'm talking about a job, I'm talking about a relationship, I'm talking about anything. It will select it. Then what do you have to do? Well, affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization, all about that one thing. Okay, so let's say it's confidence. Okay, now the conscious mind selects confidence. Now write the affirmation. I am so happy and grateful now that I am confident. Thank you. You write it in the morning when you first wake up. You recite it out loud before you go to bed, before you turn the lights off, when you're fully relaxed. Now it goes into your subconscious. In 2 weeks, you start to feel a shift. Then what do? You keep doing it for 66 days. Can you do it for 66 days? Okay, if you missed a day of affirmations, write it twice the next day, or 2 or 3 times, whatever, because you need to get it into your subconscious so that it repeats, so that it becomes permanent and not just a one-time thing. Okay, 36, that's a new number right there. So anyway, right? So you need for it to repeat. It needs to be a habit. Okay? Once it's a habit in the subconscious, you don't need to worry about it. After 66 days, it's automatic. Then you go to the next topic, go to the next thing. Okay? What do you do in meditation? You sit still, you close your distractors, you sit still for 10 minutes. Okay? That's a tall order, a large order. Okay? So try 3 minutes first. Sit still, close your eyes, go to your happy place where nobody's going to bother you. Okay? Where you're not going to hear the phone ring, where you're not going to be disturbed by text or email or anything. Okay? And do that. 3 minutes first, then go to 5, then go to 10. You don't need more than 10 every day. When you do that, okay, you have completed the meditation process. Now you do that over and over for 66 days. And every time you're there, you want to think about confidence. Okay? Because when you're thinking, you're asking. When you're praying, you're asking. When you're intending, you're asking. This is why when you think a thought over and over and over and over again, it materializes. You think of your bestie, right? You think of your bestie over and over and over and over and over. Then you run into your bestie in the shopping center, right? Ah, coincidence. No, superconscious. Why? Because the subconscious held the program. The superconscious opens doors and brings the right people at the right time. And you were thinking about your bestie, and the superconscious went, okay, boom, there you go. One for the first time around, Sarah. First, do one. Oh, fantastic! You follow the 4 pillars every day. Good. You're going to be very successful with whatever it is you're writing. Yeah. Thank you, Dee Dee. Thank you so much. So when you do this, right? When you start to have programs repeat in your subconscious, it's automatic after 66 days. Then change the subject. So now confidence is being worked on. Okay? So change the subject. Now, a lot of people ask me all the time about money, right? Money, 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 money. You don't have to focus on money. Focus on what you do that makes money. Focus on what you do that brings money. How many affirmations? Oh, I see. Sorry, I wrote that. I read that twice. You're very welcome. You're welcome, Sarah. Okay, so money is an inanimate object. Money is a physical object that's manufactured by man. It's man-made. It's out here in the physical world. It's man-made. Focus in here, in the spiritual world, in the kingdom. Okay? Focus on the spiritual. That will bring money. So in other words, what did God give you that's your natural talent? What did God give you that you do really, really well? For some people, it's painting. For some people, it's carving. For some people, it's reading and writing. For some people, it's a trade. It's carpentry. It's electronics. It's whatever. Okay? Whatever that is, focus on that. Focus on your natural abilities, your natural talent. You won't be able to run from money. Okay? If you don't have money and you're thinking about not having money, you're attracting more not having money. I don't worry about money. I never ever worry about money, because worry is like praying for something bad to happen. Now, sometimes I have to be patient, okay? Or take money out of my savings, or take money out of whatever. Take out of here, throw it over here, transfer it from here to there, whatever. Sometimes I have to be patient, okay? But money always comes. If you're being productive, money always comes. There's two ways to be wealthy, okay? And I'm gonna close with this today because it's important that you know this. It's important that tattoo this on your arm, okay? There's two ways to wealth, okay? The first way is to save up everything, okay? Save up everything you make, okay? Live like a poor person, okay? And when I say that, I mean living a poor life, okay? Eating the cheapest food, wearing the cheapest clothes, living in the cheapest place, driving the cheapest car, whatever. Those are all lack mindsets, okay? You can live like that, and you can live small, and you can accumulate a huge bank account. Okay, or what's the alternative? The alternative is you can seek first the kingdom of God. Okay? Please listen up, spiritual people, and please listen up, religious people, because I see so many of you poor. Okay? You can seek first the kingdom, and all else will be added unto you. It's that simple. Then you start attracting. What are you focusing on? You're focusing on you. You're focusing on the kingdom. God lives in here. God does not live out there, up there in the ionosphere. No, not in the stratosphere. No, in here, in you. And when you do that, money automatically comes. What do? You do what you do. You do what God gave you. You use the talents God gave you. You use the intelligence God gave you. You go to work, you do whatever it is you do, and money keeps coming. Add that up over a lifetime. That's tons of money. Okay? It doesn't mean that your bank account is going to be full with millions of dollars, but every time you need something, each and every time you need something, it will come. And you will have a beautiful existence. How do you seek the kingdom? Close your distractors. Okay, sit still for 10 minutes. Work your way up. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. You're very welcome. Very welcome, Didi. Yep, gratitude works. So tomorrow, again, more on gratitude. And we'll see you guys because I got to get to clients. And I'm not here to sell you anything, so there's no sales pitch for anything. Sorry to disappoint you, but yeah, no sales pitch. This is for you guys. Thank you. Take care, you guys. I love you guys. All right. And from Hawaii, we say aloha and lots of love to you guys on our feed from Streamlabs.